Hi there and welcome to our September video fisheries feedback, filmed once again at a secret location somewhere in deepest Berkshire at the site of our fast growing new Kennet hatchery, and more of that later from Del. We will of course be having all our usual features. There'll be our Fish of the Month competition, our fishing picture competition, report back from the fisheries team and prospects for fishing in the month of October. So let's get on with it. Okay, so it's time for fishery report. Del, what have you guys been up to, particularly in terms of general maintenance over the last month?
Yeah, well, September is sort of when we have our holidays, so there isn't a huge amount of stuff sort of going on because, you know, we try and keep our sort of big holidays, if you like, to around this time of the year when we're sort of fairly slack, if you like. But other than going and catching a load of carp in France, Jim's been out and done a second cut on a lot of our more popular venues. And as I keep saying, you know, if you visited a venue and you think it could do with an haircut, then, you know, by all means give us a shout. We rely on the anglers telling us sort of where needs doing this time of the year, because, you know, for us to replicate what we do in June would be a massive waste of our time. So yeah, I think off the top of my head, he's done beat 4, beat 5, beat 3, upper Benyons, lower Benyons, and a couple of the sort of lakes.
Didn't you send him off to Wallingford as well?
Yes, Wallingford's been done as well. Yeah, that's had a bit of a haircut. So, you know, some of the more sort of popular venues have been done. Yeah, so, you know, now this time of the year everything's sort of on the down now anyway, so give it another month and everything will die back anyway, so
Nature will take its
that's
course.
it. So the mowers and the strimmers, you know, are pretty much now retired to the lockup for the winter.
And the Wiley's otter fence, I know you've got Jim busy doing that big project. So what's the timescale for that, and what's the sort of sequence of the works?
Yeah, well, at the moment we've got contractors in there felling all the trees because there's a hell of a lot of trees.
Not all the trees, I should say.
No, not all the trees.
Trees.
Selected trees. I mean, basically we're clearing a path for the fence. So anything within sort of 3 or 4 metres or anything that's looking like it could come over and damage the fence, we're taking out. The lake, the stuff around the edge of the lake, we're not taking out yet. We'll take a view on that once we've got the fence up and everything else. So yeah, that's the first thing. That'll be another couple of weeks now till that's done. Then we've got to prepare the ground, so we've got to level, you know, try and level it out as best we can. And then it will be a case of putting actually getting on and getting the fence up. I've given Jim till Christmas to get it done. So
that's a bit mean.
I think that's well, you got to have a target, you know. So I'm expecting him to get it sort of done in about 6 weeks.
Yeah. Well, let's just remind, particularly the newer members who've joined us. I mean, Wiley's has got a proud tradition, hasn't it? As part of our portfolio, it was a excellent tench venue. Probably the only venue we've had that has stillwater venue that suffered a lot from otter predation, primarily because everybody else put otter fences up. So we've kind of playing a bit of catch up there. And your objective for Wiley's is to do what? To try to return it to its former glory?
Yeah, well, hopefully improve on it, you know. Yeah, Wiley's was always, it's a bit of a hidden gem, and you know, it was, if you wanted to go and catch a few tench of a morning, it was the place to go, and that sort of dropped by the last few years. And while you can still go up there and catch some tench, you know, the fishing isn't easy up there. So we own Wiley's, so investing, you know, money into Wiley's is always a good thing. You know, we're not afraid to do that. And Wiley's is probably the only lake we've got that is actually suitable for otter fencing. So it's, you know, why not, you know? And the plan is to develop it as our missing link, if you like, a smaller version of Longwater.
Yeah.
In some nicer surroundings, you know. And the bonus with the otter fence is it will be, you know, secure. You know, so there's a lot of work. It's going to take us probably 3 or 4 years before we get it to how we want it. So yeah, watch this space. You know, we're not afraid of putting a bit of money into it, and we're not afraid of putting a bit of blood, sweat and tears in, and hopefully in 3 or 4 years time, you know, we'll have another decent quality fishery for our members to go and enjoy.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, and for those that don't know Wireless or didn't fish it back in the day, this is a venue where people could catch a dozen tench in the morning. I've even heard of bigger catches than that. They weren't as big as the tench are in Engie or Farnham Flint, but decent fish coming out there, and some quality bream, and also some very, very big rudd.
Yeah. I mean, it was a sort of midway fishery. I mean, the tench they weren't huge in there, but they were plentiful. Same with the bream, same with the roach, the rudd, everything else, you know. And it's just a pleasant place to be fishing. So hopefully, you know, we can get it somewhere near that again.
Well, I think that's great news. Less exciting, but just as important, the popularity of our Flint complex is evidenced by the numbers of cars queuing up to fish both the gravel pits themselves, visit the cafe, fish wilmots, callows, whatever. But of course, it's taken a toll on the car park itself.
Yeah.
I understand we're having to invest quite a lot of money in bringing that up to scratch.
Yeah, I mean, I think it all came very apparent on the open day. As to sort of how bad I mean, you've got to remember that, you know, it's an old car park. You know, as far as I'm aware, it's never ever been resurfaced. And during the build of sort of callows and wilmots and the hut and everything else, it took a pounding. I mean, I'd hate to think how many lorry loads of stuff came in and out of that place. And when we had the opening day, you know, I'm sure if you'd have got yourself a rod, you could have caught yourself a couple of goldfish in some of the puddles that we had there.
Well, it wasn't that day, was it?
Yeah. So it needs doing. It's going to cost us a hell of a lot of money. And it's going to mean, unfortunately, that end of Flint, the car park, is going to be shut from the 16th of this month for a week. So you won't be able to access anywhere that end of Flint, which is unfortunate, but you know, we need to do it, and it's a little bit of pain now for, you know, a lot of gain later on. Hopefully, you know, once it's done and it's been done properly, which, you know, we've got outside contractors coming in to do, you know, it'll serve us well for the next 20, 30 years at least.
Will there be opportunities for people to park in Cottage Lane or anywhere else?
Probably not, because the trouble is you have to go through the car park in order to get to wilmots and everywhere else. Probably the you know, if someone is that desperate and is missing fishing wilmots that desperately and they can't hang on a week, probably the best bet would be to park in Pinchwood and then walk through from Engerfield and walk down that way.
So Pinchwood, of course, is a perfectly good place to park if you want to fish Farnham Flint or Engerfield, isn't it?
Yeah.
But be prepared to walk.
Yeah, exactly. It's just the nature of the beast. You know, if we've got guys, we could do it where we've done half the car park and allow people to park there and this, that and the other, but it's going to take twice as long to do. It's going to be twice as expensive. So it's just a lot easier, a lot cheaper just to go, boom, let's shut the doors for a week and just get on and get it done.
Okay, so let's just remind people that's a week from the 16th of October. We'll put notices up on the Facebook page and you will be advised of alternative parking if you really want to fish that part of our fisheries.
Yeah.
That's really useful, Del. Thanks for the update on that. And finally, the hatchery itself. I mean, I know we did a tour in the last video, but what have you done since? Let's start with the front and the outside. Because last time I was here, this was open to the elements.
Yeah. Well, the reason I think I explained it before, but the reason we left the front out was because we were hoping to get some stuff done inside, and we got no power here as yet. We're still waiting on SSE because we're looking to get a new supply pulled in separate for this hatchery. So there's a bit of a hold up with that. So we left it open. When I got back off holiday, we run some cables round, we put the lighting system up, and we've literally got a 3-pin plug on the end of the lighting system, and you can plug it, I can plug it into a generator and get some lights on. So once we've done that, we were ready to sort of fit the doors and the front and everything else. And I've spent the last 3 days this week getting the doors and the front, and literally half an hour ago, we put the last bit of tin on, and it's now all sealed, signed, sealed, and ready to go. I would like to say Eddie Hampton, one of our bailiffs, everyone will know Eddie. He's been a star this week because Jim's away elsewhere. Some of this stuff's double-handed. These doors, you wouldn't believe how heavy these doors are. And he's been a star this week, and he's given me an hand this week. So big thumbs up to Eddie.
Yeah, big thanks to Eddie and everyone else that's helped. Now, we get a load of questions, Dale, on the Facebook page. When can we have a tour? Where's the hatchery? We're obviously keeping it under wraps. Could you just explain to people why we need to be security conscious at this stage?
Yeah, well, at this stage, I mean, it's... I don't think it's any sort of secret. It's in the middle of a farm, and one, we don't want people sort of traipsing all around a farm because there's all sorts of health and safety issues and God knows what else. 2, we've got a hell of a lot of money, or there will be in the next few weeks. There's going to be a hell of a lot of money's worth of kit in here. So, and because it's on a farm, it's fairly remote, security risks, this, that, and the other. So we are not going to be in a position to divulge where it is or have an open day or anything like that until we are up and running. We've got all of our security systems in place, and it's as secure as we can make it. So yeah, all those people that are saying, oh, can we come and have a look? Yes, you can come and have a look. We will have a couple of open days. There probably won't be any fish in here because the minute you put fish in here, there's biosecurity things to consider. So we don't want people just wandering in. They can bring in, I mean, a hatchery is probably only a couple of steps down from a surgical theatre in so much as biosecurity and everything else. So the idea of having people just turning up and coming in when we got fish and everything else in here is, that's just a non-starter. But once we've got water in the system and it's all running and we feel it's, it's how we want it, we've got our security in place, everything else, then yeah, we'll put a couple of dates up and people come up, have a cup of tea and have a look at what we've been sweating over for the last 2 years.
Right, absolutely. And lastly, can you just remind people of your target start date for the first bit of fish breeding?
Well, we're hoping to get dace in. They'll be the first fish to go through the system, and dace normally spawn around sort of March time, depending on weather and everything else, but it's around March time, early to mid-March. So yeah, that'll be the first lot that will go in. We want to have the system wet, so filled up, very close to Christmas, either just before or just after Christmas, because there's going to be a little bit of sort of messing around to get levels right and this, that and the other. And it's not going to work first time of asking, that's for sure. So yeah, we need a little bit of fine-tuning time, if you like. So we'll have a month or two just to fine-tune it, and that'll be the opportunity when people could come over and have a look.
Fabulous. Well, thanks for the update, and thanks for the report. That's really, really helpful. Okay then, so time to move on to the Fish of the Year competition, and I'm pleased to announce that the September winner is a long-time Reading member. It's Paul Rogers with this magnificent 15-pound, 4-ounce Kennet barbel from the lower river. Paul's no stranger, as Dale knows, to catching big fish. I know he's been having a bit of a lean time of late, but congratulations, Paul. If you get in touch with us, we've got your £50 Angling Direct voucher. We've got a little trophy for you as well, and of course your fish will go into the hat for the draw for the Fish of the Year competition, which has got even more valuable prizes, which we happily advertise every month. So congratulations to Paul. Let's see if someone can get a 16-pounder. They're going to get heavier.
Without shadow of a doubt. I mean, I'm edging my bets and saying that we're going to have a 17-pounder put up this year. There's some big fish coming out early on in the year. So I think we'll have a 17 by the end of the year.
Well, we're going to roll the picture gallery now, so you can see some of those big barbel that may put on a few pounds as the season goes on. So let's have a look at the picture gallery. Well, Dale, that was a right old mixed bag of fish from last month. But, you know, it's not surprising, really, is it? September's the one month you can catch every fish that swims in this country, isn't it?
Yeah, as long as you've got the weather in September, it can be a really good month, good month.
Well, I think the members have shown that. I mean, you could highlight almost any of these fish. There's some lovely fish caught there. But I think a special mention once again, to Kevin Hargreaves, who is loving his return to the Kennet. I think we featured two of Kevin's barbel. I think he's had 5 or 6 doubles this year. He's clearly doing well, isn't he? He's doing something right.
Yeah, he's doing something right. Yeah, I mean, whatever he stepped in was obviously, it's working.
Moving away from barbel, it's not a specimen, but it's a lovely picture. I mean, this shot that Mark Froster's published of some of these big Thames roach that are showing. I mean, we had Andy Dodd with one last month. It fascinates me, this, because your average run-of-the-mill roach on the Thames is pretty prolific for roach at the right time of year. Is, I don't know, 2 ounces to a pound, to half a pound, possibly 9-10 ounces. That's your average stamp roach. But these pound-plus fish are starting to show in increasing numbers, and they look pristine fish. And you wonder where they've been hiding. They must be 10 years, must be 9 or 10 years old.
Yeah. I mean, it's strange. I mean, the Kennet's doing the same with the barbel. You know, a few years ago, everyone was saying that the Kennet's got no barbel in it, and now, there's hardly a day goes by where someone isn't putting a barbel picture up from the Kennet. And the roach are pretty much the same in the Thames. You know, we all know that the Thames has got a lot of roach in. But certainly there is a year class that is coming through now that is a good stamp.
No, it's been very impressive, and it's not just been on the Reading waters. I was talking to some guys up at Oxford as well. It's the same thing's been happening. So whatever these roach have been doing, wherever they are, they're certainly showing now. And this is a prime time of year to go after them.
And the thing is, the more that are caught, it's always that sort of catch-22. No anglers, no fish get caught. The more anglers, more fish get caught. And we're starting to see more river anglers in general these days. So the fish are starting to get caught again. So
well, I mean,
good.
I certainly think if people are going down to Wallingford or Northmoor or Sonning or any of our Thames venues, or the venues we share with Jolly Anglers or Littlemore, targeting roach, targeting bigger than average roach is now a more realistic possibility than it has been for a number of seasons.
Yeah, definitely.
Which is great. Okay, moving on. I remember years ago being in the Reading Evening Post with a fluke capture of a big carp from Longwater.
Yeah.
Nobody knew they were there then.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I see Richard Reeve had an interesting surprise. The poor bloke was bream fishing and this thing came along.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, how
yeah.
many carp are in that place?
Evan knows. Because it floods from the Foundry Brook, and fish periodically get into the Kennet at certain points. They nearly always tend to get sort of caught up in Foundry Brook somewhere, and then as soon as the river floods, boom, they're into the lake, and it's a bit of an unknown quantity. I mean, I know of fish well into mid-30s that have been caught in there in the past.
You can't guarantee they're still in there, can you?
No, and it's a little bit like sonning. Sonning's pretty much the same as well. Where you really could have a surprise.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that it would be somewhere to seriously target, but sort of the carp anglers that are out there, don't dismiss it and keep an eye on it, because there could be a surprise in there.
Yeah, well done, Richard, on that. And I guess the surprise was our good old friend Malcolm Morris. He returned to Englefield for an attempt to catch another specimen roach. Newer members won't be aware, but Malcolm was within 2 ounces of beating the roach record back in the day from Englefield. He went out to try and catch another monster, 3 pound plus roach, and back end of the summer comes up with this 9.5 or 9 pound 5 ounce tench from Englefield.
Yeah.
It's a funny old water. That you never know what that place is going to produce. Do you?
No. Yeah, I mean, certainly it's got some good roach in it. It has, but there's not many of them, and it has got some good roach in it. Perhaps you ought to go tench fishing there, and you might catch a roach.
Well, that's obviously the answer. Okay, last one that I wanted to highlight. Dave Nunn. It's not the biggest chub, and there'll be fish nearly twice this size, I'm sure, coming out from our waters, but nice chub from Padworth Mill. But Padworth Mill has to be our most underfished Kennet venue. Yeah. And there's all sorts down there, isn't there?
Yeah. I mean, I know of big 4 pound perch that have been caught there. I know of 16 plus pound barbel that have been caught there, 6-7 pound chub that have been caught there. It's not an easy venue, and we deliberately leave it to overgrow. Because we don't want all of our waters to be exactly the same. It's for the anglers that like to push a rod through a bush.
Real specimen
hunters. Yeah, exactly. And the rewards are there, but it's not particularly easy fishing.
No. Well, again, well done, Dave. So it falls to you to decide the fishing picture of the month for September. Which one have you chosen?
Well, again, there's lots, and it's quite difficult. But Ambrose Smith with his 10 pound 12 Kennet barbel. I think that's a nice photo, and he's obviously chuffed with catching it. So well done, Ambrose. Drop us a message via Facebook or Messenger or however, or even email, whichever, and let us know whether you want the coarse fishing pack or the barbel fishing pack, and obviously the Redden District hat, which has changed colour this year, so we know who's caught what year.
Even better. I'm surprised you're not barcoding them.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations, Ambrose, and thanks a lot for that, Del. So we now move across to Jim, who is not with us at the hatchery. He's actually out on site, but he's recorded his segment for us on fishing prospects for the month of October. So take it away, Jim.
Hi everyone. I'm stood here on the banks of the River Kennet this month. I've actually been working at Wiley's, and I've had the tree guys there dropping a lot of timber, so I unfortunately couldn't get with the other guys to do the rest of the filming, so here's my bit. But yeah, the Kennet is looking absolutely fabulous. It's just fining down after this sort of recent rain we've had, and now that colour is sort of fully gone out of it. So for the guys that want to be out there sort of with a stick float and a few pints of maggots, now's going to be your time to be out there. These fish are going to be up, they're going to be looking for some food, and they're going to be on it when they're there. So keep the feed going in, and you can have some good days on the sticks. For the chub and barbel guys, well, one look at the Facebook page will tell you that. Every single week there's been double figure barbel coming out, chub of 6 pound plus. Yeah, just round every corner of the Kennet seems to be specimen fish constantly, which is great to see. Another thing I just want to remind members of, places to not neglect, is Wilmots and Callows. Obviously you get the regular guys that sort of fish Wilmots, but for someone that's sort of not been down there before, or just fancies just a couple of hours of an evening that they sort of haven't got the time to do these sort of long sessions, if you like, pop yourselves down to Wilmots and Callows. You can, a couple of hours fishing, pull your seat up. It's a very short walk from the car, and you can have some great evenings fishing there. There's a chap that normally regularly fishes on Wilmots, catching the carp and things, and he popped on to Callows the other day, and he had an absolutely exceptional day, and he absolutely loved it. He said he's worked things out which he didn't sort of know he could do, so he's had a great day there. So yeah, there's going to be lots to go out this month. One other thing is, obviously we're now into the pike season, so I'm sure you're going to see a lot of guys sort of out dead baiting and things around the big pits, and hopefully catching a few of those big crocs. The other thing's going to be the perch as well. One look at obviously the Facebook page, the few perch that have come out of the Thames recently. Wow, what fish they are. So yeah, basically guys, all I'd say is when you get those couple of hours, get out there if you can and get your kit ready for this winter for some of these chub and these perch. There is some absolutely exceptional fish, and I do not think it's long before Reading area is going to be doing a British record. So yeah, I'd like it to be one of our members. Best of luck, everyone.
Okay, so that's it for this month. Best of luck out there. As you've heard from Jim, there's plenty of good fish to be caught. Still a good month for fishing. Tight lines and enjoy yourselves.